What's poppin', guys? How's it going? All right, let's go ahead and dive into NXT for March the 28th, 2023. This was the go-home show for Stand and Deliver, and we will talk about the Stand and Deliver predictions. This show, for whatever reason, was taped, which makes a lot of sense. It was an okay show. Nothing too out of the ordinary happened. So we kicked the show off with the Battle Royal for the final spot in the NXT North American Championship match at Stand and Deliver. This match featured basically all of your low mid-card guys and a couple of tag team guys in there like Malik Blade and Idris Inoue. So the final three came down to Charlie Dempsey, Axiom, and Nathan Frazier. And I already knew, with those being the final three, I knew Axiom was going to win. So Axiom wins. He throws Nathan Frazier over the top rope. So then, post-match, Dragon Lee, he enters the ring. Wesley enters the ring. They all three shake hands. Ilya, he appears on the side of the apron. Same with JD on the other side. And the fans chant NXT. Okay. Next, Pretty Deadly, they're backstage. And they're wearing some really cool outfits. Top hats and nice shirts and jackets. So I like that. So they welcome us to one of the kind of Stand and Deliver preview. So they take a look at the NXT Fatal 5-Way. So they wonder how Wesley is going to retain. Elton Prince predicts that JD McDonough is going to win. And Kit Wilson, he's going to go with Dragon Lee. Pretty Deadly will say that we're going to hear more from them later on as the night progresses. Okay, I like that. Moving on. So Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, and Thea Hale, they're backstage with Tyler Bate. So everyone's hyping up Tyler Bate except for Duke. Andre Chase says he was great in the great debate last week. So Duke is in the background looking all bored, basically signifying his heel turn. Like, it's obvious. So Chase goes on about riding this momentum all the way to Stand and Deliver against the Schism. So they're fired up and they head out. So Andre Chase asks Duke if he's coming, and Duke says he wouldn't miss it for the world. But you can tell in his voice he was extremely sarcastic. All right, moving on. So Briggs, he's backstage talking to Jensen about his love life. So Kiana James and Fallon Henley, they interrupt. So Jensen asks Kiana if she's okay because her message seemed off. So Fallon Henley tells Kiana James to tell him. So Kiana, she's a little bit hesitant and starts talking about how she feels terrible. She feels terrible because, and then Briggs and Jensen are on Stand and Deliver. So she says that she got them a match tonight, and if they win, they'll be added to the triple threat match at Stand and Deliver. So both Briggs and Jensen, they're thrilled about this. And Fallon Henley is super upset with Kiana James. And she can't stand her for not coming clean, which I agree with 1,000%. So Tyler Bate versus Von Wagner. Tyler Bate gets the win here via the top rope corkscrew for the 1, 2, 3. So after the match, Chase U, they stand tall with Tyler Bate. Then the lights, they go low, and we hear Joe Gacy yell out about how the Schism will be in control of Chase U soon. The curriculum will change. And then we cut to a video of Gacy, Ava, Fowler, and Reed taking over the Chase U classroom and teaching some of the students. They promised to keep a seat open for Chase U students in the Andre Chase Memorial Detention Hall. That's pretty good right there. So Ava says this Saturday, the world of Chase U will fall when the Schism takes over. Gacy says when the bell rings, a new class will begin. This is okay. Like I said before, it's quite obvious that Duke Hudson's going to turn on Chase U. And to be perfectly honest, I think that Chase U has not been the same since Buddy Haywood got released. That's just my humble opinion. They're still over, but when Brody was involved, they were super over. Next, we got to see Roxanne Perez, which was very, very weird. I was scratching my head like, huh? I thought she was out. So she heads into the weight room and tells everybody, she's back. And then she walks into Shawn Michaels' office. So Roxanne says the doctors have cleared her for Stand and Deliver. She was just suffering from a mix of body exhaustion with her anxiety. Okay. So Shawn is thrilled. She's good to go, but he's not sure she's ready. Shawn says her health is priority right now, so we should crown a new champion at Stand and Deliver. Then Roxanne can have a few matches under her belt and go for the title. So Roxanne talks about how important being champion is to her. She admits that she suffers from anxiety and goes on about it. Shawn says that she's better physically, but mentally she's not all there. Shawn says Roxanne is 21, she's young, and there'll be plenty of big events like this. And then Roxanne says Shawn didn't think like this. She says her anxiety is crippling, but she can't run from it. She can't run away from it. The only way to conquer it is head on by climbing the ladder and climbing the title. So Roxanne Perez, she begs Shawn for this match. Shawn says she does deserve to defend her title. Shawn says he wants tests and follow-ups with doctors. So Roxanne Perez just thanks him over and over again. So Shawn puts her in the ladder match, and she keeps thanking him. Shawn says that she's going to give him a nervous breakdown. Shawn also says she can beat this, and he wishes her good luck. Again, this really doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why you would need a ladder involved in this. Not a good sign. Most women's ladder matches are very clunky, and I think this is a bad idea for Roxanne Perez. It's a bad idea. Next, Elektra Lopez versus Valentina Royce. Elektra Lopez gets the well-deserved win. So she wins via the Electra Shock sit-down powerbomb, which I like. I'm not ready for her to come back to the main roster and join Legado. I don't know why she's still in NXT. Next, we got my boy Eddy Thorpe, a.k.a. Karl Fredricks, versus Miles Bourne. So, I talked about this last week, how I would have liked it for there to be a little bit more vignettes, a few more vignettes for Eddy Thorpe, instead of just putting him out there after this one vignette. It didn't make any sense. I think it would be better if we would have had at least 3 or 4 good vignettes hyping him up and then allow him to make his debut. But he wins via a modified net breaker for the win. Pretty cool stuff. Hopefully, Eddy Thorpe will be used correctly. I could see him being North American champion. I really could see him in that spot in due time. Moving on. So Mackenzie Mitchell, she interviews Gallus, and I immediately said to myself, there needs to be subtitles when Gallus is talking. You cannot understand what they're saying. They have a thick Scottish accent. Very, very thick. I'm like, what the hell? It's just like they're mumbling about something. Like, what? So Gallus says that they're opening to the defending against 2 or 3 teams on Saturday. And that's all they say. So then we get the last chance qualifier for the NXT Women's Ladder Match at Stand and Deliver. Indi Hartwell versus Ivy Nile versus Soruka. Indi Hartwell wins, and my girl Ivy Nile continues to take losses. What in the actual hell? This is so stupid. Why give this win to Indi Hartwell? Why not give it to Ivy Nile? Seriously. Come on. Indi Hartwell? Lame. So damn lame. Come on, Sean. You can do better than this, man. You can do better than this. This doesn't make any sense. I mean, let's get real. Indi Hartwell should have been on the main roster months ago. Months ago. And that's just putting it generous. But damn, I'm so tired of seeing Indi Hartwell. Like, come on. Post-match, we see Indi standing alone in the ring. Then we see Zoe Stark, Gigi Dolan, Ira Valkyria. They appear at different spots in the crowd. Tiffany Stratton, she appears in the entranceway. And then Roxanne Perez, she appears on the platform above holding the NXT Women's Championship. And I'm just like, oh my God. Oof. Excuse me. So, Grayson Waller, he's checking in with a video. So he's having security to do more than one sweep of the building to make sure that Gargano isn't there. Grayson Waller laughs and says Gargano should tune in because you never know what he'll say. Okay. Then we get a prime target preview for Carmelo Hayes versus Bron Breakker at Stand and Deliver. So, Hayes is trained and still went to the club to party, but instead of going to the after party with Trick Williams and others, he went to train again. Bron says he's been doing this and not going to the. Bron says all he's been doing is this, not going to the clubs and being focused, working every day because that's what it takes. Bron says he's carried this brand on his back for 2 years. It means everything to him. He's the most dominant champion in NXT history. Carmelo says he wants his fucking crown. He literally does say that, which is great. I love that. That was great. And he says that he's him and NXT belongs to him. So I do like that. So we get a weird vignette from Alba Fire and Isla Dawn. So they make a bizarre pact of some kind to defeat Kiana James and Fallon Henley at Stand and Deliver. Kind of weird, bizarre stuff. You know, talking about they need to do some type of weird pact. I wasn't even paying attention to it. And I was like, why more spooky occult stuff? Like, that even goes on a lot in Impact as well. There's just too many people in the occult, I guess. And I know that women love magic, but damn, I mean, why does there have to be so many? But then again, this is pro wrestling. You're always going to have people copying other people's gimmicks. And I do think that Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, Rosemary, and a couple other people in Impact are into that type of occult stuff. A lot of women are. It's just what they're into now. A lot of women are a lot more spiritual. Not to say that we aren't spiritual, but there are a lot more women who are more spiritual than men. Drew Gulak versus Hank Walker. Drew Gulak wins via the help of Charlie Dempsey. He punched Walker in the back of the head, and that allowed Gulak to roll up Walker for the win. This is fine. It makes a lot of sense. So this is going to still continue. I love what they're doing with Gulak and Dempsey. Hopefully they can add a third person to this. I think that adding Duke Hudson to this might be solid. That could actually work. So that would be good. So to have Charlie Dempsey, Drew Gulak, and Duke Hudson as a trio would be kind of cool. Because Duke looks believable as a tough guy. He does. I mean, he's 6'5", 6'6". He's like 240, 245. So this would be believable for him. And it would be great, though. So, Pretty Deadly, they're back once again. They talk about stand and deliver matches for the tag teams. Then we get the main event, wrestling main event of the show. Tony D'Angelo and Stacks versus Briggs and Jensen. Thankfully, Tony D and Stacks win clean. So I do like that. So post-match, Fallon Henley and Kiana James, they enter the ring. So Fallon Henley, she takes the mic and tells Kiana James to go ahead and tell Jensen what she's been hiding. James says that Fallon Henley is right. She does have something to say, but she'd rather show Jensen instead. So James then kisses Jensen, and the fans pop. And so Fallon Henley is pissed about this, which actually makes a lot of sense. And then the closing segment of the show. So the ring is surrounded by security. So Grayson Waller, he walks over to Vic Joseph and takes the contract out of it for his unsanctioned match with Johnny Gargano at Stand and Deliver. So Grayson Waller tells Vic that whatever happens in this match, he wants to do it in front of Vic, and whatever happens to Vic's boy is on him. And so Booker T's basically clowning Waller he's clowning Vic Joseph on commentary, talking about, you better watch your back, man. Still that grown folks' business, dog. And I love it. Booker T kicks ass, man. I love Booker T on commentary. He's so good. Better watch your back, boy. So, So Grayson Waller brings the contract into the ring. He tells security they better watch his back because Gargano is known for cheap shots. Waller looks at the contract and says he can't believe it. Fans chant, "You can't read." Oh, man. So Grayson Waller says Carmelo and Bron think that they're the main event at Stand and Deliver, but no matter where Waller is on the card, he's the real main event. Waller says this is all coming full circle, as 2 years ago he was trying to stand out in front of a new wave of talent, even building relationships with you idiot fans, singing and dancing, and all the things fans pretend they don't like but secretly love. But then War Games came, and at that time, Waller was considered the fourth best member of Team 2.0. Fans chant, "Shut the hell up." Waller says he took the fourth best personally. He put his body on the line in War Games because that was going to be his viral moment. He his launchpad into superstardom. Grayson says, but he was wrong because after War Games, all people could talk about was Gargano. So 2 nights later, it took Waller 30 seconds to take Gargano out. He calls Gargano the biggest mark in this business, which I would honestly agree. Well, one of the biggest marks. He sent Gargano home with a chair shot. Then he sent himself into the stratosphere. Grayson Waller says moments before Gargano told people to bet on yourself. And Waller has done that more than anyone in recent months. So Waller goes on and says that he's now a big superstar begging him. He now has a big superstar begging to kick his ass. Waller keeps taking cheap shots at Shawn Michaels and says Gargano will lose at Stand and Deliver, just like Shawn Michaels. Waller says Gargano bleeds black and gold while he bleeds green. So Waller continues on ranting, and then Johnny Gargano's music hits. So Grayson Waller's looking all over for him, and then Johnny Gargano gets to the ring from behind. He's in all black like Sami Zayn, and then they just fight and brawl. So security separates them and everything, and that's how we go off the air. Okay. Cool, I guess. All right, let's go over the predictions. The Creed Brothers versus Gallus versus Tony D and Stacks for the NXT Tag Team Championships. Triple threat. Oh, God. I'm not excited for this. My prediction is Gallus will retain. Like, why not? And hopefully they'll start a feud with the Creeds. That would be nice. Next, Chase University, Andre Chase, Duke Hudson, Tia Hill, and Tyler Bate versus Schism, Joe Gacy, Ava Rain, Jagged Reed, and Rip Fowler. If Schism wins, they get control over Chase University. We all know that Schism is going to win. Duke Hudson will screw over Chase U. And it makes the most sense. I mean, come on. Next, Wes Lee versus Axiom versus Dragon Lee versus Ilya Dragunov versus JD McDonough. A fatal 5-way for the NXT North American Championship. Dragon Lee winning would be the smartest decision. It would be perfect because you could do so many good feuds and there's so many good matches for him to have. It would make the most sense because Wesley's been a boring champion, and then we know Axiom's not going to be we know Axiom's not going to win, and we know JD and Ilya are not going to win. So Dragon Lee just makes the most sense. I think he would bring a lot of prestige back into the title. And maybe he defeats Wesley. And then maybe, post-match, Wesley attacks Dragon Lee. And we get a heel Wesley and we start to get a feud. That's what I would do. Fallon, Henley and Kiana James versus Alba Fire and Aladon for the NXT Women's Tag Team Championships. Aladon and Alba Fire are going to win. I do think that maybe Jensen's going to be out there and he accidentally does something that costs them the titles. And then maybe after that, that's when Fallon Henley tells Jensen the truth of what Kiana James is all about. Because you don't need the titles anyway. You don't need the titles to continue the story here. And we all know that Kiana has been playing Jensen like a fiddle since day one. So, why not, just give us that? I do think that's what's going to happen. Next, Grayson versus Johnny Gargano in an unsanctioned match. Johnny Gargano, why not? I mean, Shawn Michaels loves him. I mean, come on, let's just be honest here. We all know that Shawn Michaels loves him some Johnny Gargano. Same thing with Triple H. Come on, that's a no-brainer here. NXT Women's Ladder Match. Roxanne Perez versus Gigi Dolan versus Indi Hartwell versus Lyra Valkyria versus Tiffany Stratton versus Zoe Stark. I'm going to go with two picks here. Pick one, Tiffany Stratton. Pick two, Roxanne Perez. I'm fine with either of them winning. And that would make the most sense. I don't think that Roxanne is losing after, cutting that promo and everything else. I don't think that would happen. I mean, you can still do the Tiffany Stratton and Roxanne Perez feud later on down the line. That's what I would kind of do. So maybe have Roxanne win, obviously, and then, have Tiffany Stratton, come out and say she could have easily won, but, I don't know. Roxanne Perez is going to win. Carmelo Hayes versus Bron Breakker for the NXT Women. the NXT Championship. Carmelo Hayes wins. I think it's time for Bron to go to the main roster. I do. And I like Bron, but I also like Melo. I think that Carmelo could really do well in NXT as champion for a while. He has what it takes to be the face of that brand and really reignite that brand. Bron has done tremendously well on NXT and, being champion for 2 years. But I think that the main roster needs him now more than ever. And we could possibly get Carmelo coming up, maybe 6 months after Bron. I don't know. That's what I would do. But I would give Melo a run with the title for a while. At least a good 6 to 8 month reign with the title. And then bring him up afterwards. I mean, seriously. That's what I would do. So on that note, thank you guys for watching. Please hit the like button, comment down below, and subscribe for more videos. I'll catch you guys later. Peace.